We are here at Arizona State University where we will be interviewing Dr. Robert Cialdini. I'm Lydia Loud.
I'm Ruth Medberry.
And I'm Albert Esparza.
How are you doing, Lydia?
Good morning, Dr. Cialdini.
Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning.
Albert.
Dr. Cialdini, good for you to be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, so we're going to start the questions off with Ruth.
Yes, good morning. The question I wanted to ask you is your 6 principles of persuasion or persuasive communication. Can you tell us what they are and a little bit about each of them?
Yeah, there's reciprocity, social proof, commitment, authority, liking, and scarcity. Which one do you want me to talk about first?
Well, actually, I'm more interested in scarcity. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Scarcity pretty much means that when an item or piece of information becomes less available or is perceived as being less available, we want it more. An example is a YouTube video if you would like to see it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Can we go into that now?
You will win this. Faster, faster. Yes!
The Target 2-day sale starts Friday, November 26th at 4 a.m. Are you ready?
All right.
Well, that was a nice video. It's really good. I'm glad how that you kind of tied it into what you were saying.
Yeah, and I would like to add concerning the video, scarcity. The principle is stronger. It has a stronger influence on us when we're in competition with one another. Hence, the woman exercising and jogging and stuff like that.
Okay, great. Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to get into reciprocity. And I heard you on an interview one time say, I am obligated to give back to you the form of behavior that you have first given to me. Do you find that still holds true?
Definitely. It's always held true. It's just a part of human nature. A good example is, let's say you're a boss of an organization, you're a leader, and your employee needs a day off. Maybe he's sick or maybe he wants to visit family. If you give him that day off, he'll probably feel obligated to do something for you in return. Maybe when you need his help for him to work late or whatnot, he'll be there for you. I really like this principle because it's all about people helping one another out. And it doesn't have to be used just so people can help you. If you care about someone truly, they can give back to you and care about you as well.
Oh, so it's like a favor for a favor.
Yeah.
Do you think that also pertains to things that can be harmful? Because I did read in your book one time about it can also do, people say an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. So if I did something ill will towards you, would that mean that you may want to do something ill will back towards me?
You know, that's a very interesting question that touches upon ethics, because I kind of think that even if someone does bad to you, it doesn't mean you should do bad to them. You know, we shouldn't want harm on anybody. But I still like the whole principle where it pertains to people doing favors for one another, and kind of like you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Excellent point.
And it's really good for organizations. It's really good for building relationships in an organization.
Right, right. Oh, well, thank you for clarifying that for me.
So commitment and consistency is another one of the principles that you have. I'm interested in that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, commitment and consistency. There's a lot of psychological things here. It's really complex. What it basically means is we tend to want to remain consistent with previous actions or beliefs or what we had said in the past. An example is Walmart organization. An example is Walmart's. What they do to new employees is they make them sign an oath. Not a contract, but an oath saying that they will uphold always Walmart's 3 principles of customer service. After they sign it, they put that on the wall in the break room. And the thing about consistency is we're more likely to keep our word when we put it in writing and we do it publicly. But the way I feel about this principle is a leader shouldn't just want people to do a job because they said they would. A leader should want them to really want to do the job. A leader, when he's in an interview asking the prospective employee any question, cut that. an employer or leader should want to know if the employee has a passion for the job, not merely just to do the job because he said he would.
Right. Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, okay. All right, so what about social proof?
Yeah, social proof is another favorite of mine. It basically means that we tend to follow the course of others. We tend to look towards others for making decisions and even belief systems sometimes. An example is a study that's been done by me and by other people where somebody is laying on the ground in the city. It works better in the city actually for certain reasons, but he's laying on the ground and it's not clear cut if it's a real emergency. We don't know if he's drunk, passed out, or really injured and needing help. And under uncertain situations like that, we tend to look elsewhere to see what everyone else is doing. When it's a clear-cut emergency though, most of the time people will try to help out.
I've heard that sometimes people think, oh, somebody else probably already called the cops or an ambulance for service. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, a very long time ago, this happened in New York City where a lady was being chased down by a robber, and multiple people in the neighborhood saw the whole event happen and nobody did anything about it. It was very controversial. The social proof can be good in an organization because it can help you understand the ropes, the norms. You observe the managers, the leaders, you observe the employees, and it helps you understand what to do in an organization to become successful.
Right, follow their lead basically.
But it can be bad in cases of groupthink. You assume that everyone else holds this opinion, so you're afraid to speak your mind and you just go with the flow.
Right.
That makes sense.
Okay. Well, I know one very important question I've been waiting to ask you. You think you're a born leader or a made leader?
I love this question. It's been a topic of discussion for the past 2,000 years, maybe more. And I'm going to give a cliche answer, both. Because I've always had an interest in psychology. I've always had certain mental aptitudes that make me good at this stuff. But a leader is someone who doesn't just have these traits and aptitudes. He uses it to influence people and gain some sort of recognition. And that's something I achieved by going to college. I have my bachelor's, my master's, and doctorate in psychology, and have published multiple books. That is why I consult multiple organizations such as NATO, McDonald's, Microsoft, and even Harvard. So really, I have my traits, but I'm at this position because of college and the books that I've published.
So things you've worked hard at.
So in a sense, I was made to some degree.
So what?
Well, thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Robert.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a great answer.
No, your principles of persuasion, I can see are very helpful in leadership. And in order, for everyone to understand them, it will make us become better influential people, I guess. Influential leaders to get people to do things correctly.
Yes.
But how have these principles affected the business environment?
Well, it's my main thing when I consult with businesses is I want them to be aware of these principles, but to use them ethically. Let's take liking, for example. Liking pretty much says that we say yes to people. We tend to say yes to people we like. There's certain factors that make people likable, like good looks. And that's an attitude we have towards politicians. A politician can be dressed nice, he can look really good like Santorum, and we don't care how intelligent he is. Maybe I shouldn't talk about politics like that. but liking can, but that part, the fact that people tend to like attractive people, that touches upon the dark side of influence, because just because someone is attractive doesn't mean they're a good person or they're knowledgeable. Another reason why people might like a leader or a manager is that he gives compliments. And the dark side of that is some people just want to be liked. They'll just flatter people just so they can be liked by them. But if you're honest and you say good job to an employee who really does deserve it, he's going to like you. He's going to appreciate the fact that you appreciate his work.
And giving him some type of recognition for his hard work, huh?
Underneath it all, the whole ethics behind it is that if you really care about your employees and honesty, these all can come into place. Social proof, liking, and maybe not scarcity. That's a whole different idea, but But if you keep those ethics and you care about your employees and your leaders, then your organization should be very strong.
So if somebody really learns these 6 principles and applies them in an ethical way, then that way we become more effective leaders and be able to influence our employees underneath us.
Yeah, definitely, and consumers as well.
So in the business environment, I mean, or speaking socially, or the actual social environment, how are these actual principles affect that environment?
The social environment, they are the other side, right? The thing with them is now they have the tools to notice when a business might be doing something unethical. And it's not always easily apparent. It takes a lot of thought. Some of these principles, like let's say authority, social proof, commitment, these tend to be a shortcut to decision making. Instead of thinking about our decisions, we might say, well, you know what, we did this in the past, this was my decision in this situation last time, I'll just do it this time. Businesses make that mistake too by saying, you know, we did this in the past, just because it worked in the past, it'll work in the future, which is not always true. But as for consumers, now they're more aware of the things that influence them.
So that's really interesting. I wanted to touch back to the question that Mr. Albert asked over here, and he was talking about whether you were a foreign leader or made, and you said something about your traits. So as a role model, what would you suggest some good traits or some characteristics that other people can use in their organization?
To be ethical, that's the prime thing, because you know you can have all the knowledge but not be an ethical leader. But if you're an ethical leader and your followers see that, they're willing to follow you very far. But if you're very intelligent and your followers see that you're unethical, they won't want to be with you anymore unless you try to coerce them somehow.
That's very understandable.
But I would also suggest, you know, I mean, there's different aspects of leadership, transformational leadership, making change in an organization, being charismatic, and getting people excited about doing the job. But I still think underneath that, underneath charisma, is ethical leadership. You know, because if you know your leader's not ethical, how can you really follow into his charisma?
So you're head of a president of a company that involves motivational influence, or I think it's called Work and Influence.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything a little bit about that and what the actual program is?
No.
So we're about to wrap this up. Do you have any last comments, you know, for the audience, for us, or anybody?
Yes, I sure do. I would suggest everyone understand these 6 principles, read up about them, watch some YouTube videos, and learn from those examples. It can help you become a better leader in the business environment. And always remember to do these ethically. And my final statement for the audience is to give a round of applause for Six Pack. And also, Mrs. Ramirez, give them an A. They deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cialdini, for being with us.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Dr. Cialdini.
Lydia, you'll have a good day.
You too.
All right. And
Hi, we are here at Arizona State University where we will be interviewing Dr. Cialdini. I'm Lydia Lau.
I'm Ruth Medberry.
and I'm Albert Forrest.
How you doing, Lydia?
Good morning.
How you
Good
doing,
morning,
Ruth?
Dr. Cialdini.
Hi, Dr. Cialdini.
How you doing, Robert?
Robert. I'm Albert.
Oh, yeah, that's right, sorry.
That'll do it. No, but you didn't even.
Hi, we are here at... Okay.
How you doing today?
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning. Hi, Ruth.
Good morning.
Hi, Albert.
Dr. Cialdini, good for you to be here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Oh, that's my bad. Hey, what's going on, Bill Gates? Yeah, I'm in.
all right. We're going to start off with a few questions, and I believe Lydia's going to start off.
Okay.
Yes, we're interested. We are very...
Yeah.
You started character here.
No.